Welcome to another episode of Regular Beer Reviews, where regular doesn't refer to the beers reviewed, but to the reviewer, myself. I'm Jesse, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing a beer that I have had before. It is from the Coors Brewing Company. This is Batch 19, pre-prohibition style lager. I had this beer actually once before. Over the summer I picked up a 6-pack of it. I saw it, and I didn't realize it was from Coors at the time, but I picked it up, and I remember it being actually pretty good, which was surprising considering like 99% of the stuff Coors puts out is just shit. As a matter of fact, I want to say Blue Moon, actually, their Winter Abbey Ale I had last winter. That was pretty good. That's about it. From Coors. So I remember this being pretty good, which was a bit of a surprise, but a pleasant surprise. Let's see here. Beer Advocate gives this a 77, which is just okay, and that's with 786 ratings. The Bros give it an 89, which is actually very good on their scale. Rate Beer gives it a 27 overall with a 65 for the style, so those numbers are pretty low to it. It has 5.5% ABV, and it has year-round availability. Here's a little something it said on the 6-pack, actually, I thought was kind of interesting. It said, when the basement flooded at the brewery, an old logbook was unearthed and recovered in the aftermath. Unharmed, it contained detailed beer recipes that dated back to pre-prohibition. One of these recipes is the inspiration for Batch 19. A rare combination of hops. Not your expected hop pairing by today's standards. Batch 19 is brewed using hand-selected Hersbrucker hops for a subtle herbal aroma, and Strisselspalt hops for notes of black currants. The hop character is balanced by just the right amount of caramel maltiness for a crisp, clean finish. I don't know, to me the logbook thing just sounds like bullshit. It sounds like a gimmick to get people interested in their beer, but whatever. And this is Batch 19, pre-prohibition style lager. I remember reading somewhere else online over the summer when I first tried this beer that the reason why they called it I don't know why I popped the top. It's a twist off. I wasn't thinking, but I remember reading that it gets the name Batch 19 because Prohibition was voted on and passed in 1919, and so that was where it got the name from. So, who really knows? I'm just going to use a regular pint glass here, a tumbler. A little bit of smoke still coming out the top there. And give it kind of an aggressive pour, see what kind of head we can get. Alright. As we can see, it's slightly darker, slightly hazier than a your average adjunct lager. It's I wouldn't say quite a golden yellow. It's maybe like a slightly darker gold color. Very, very, very light amber, slightly hazy. Good bit of carbonation streaming up there. I say it had about a half finger head, which quickly dissipated, maybe a quarter finger. Pretty thin, pretty frothy. Let's get a nose on this. Alright, hops up front. I mean, not a really complex hop character to this, but I'm definitely picking up hops. A little piney, slightly citrusy. Not really picking up on a lot of the malt. Smells kind of adjuncty, kind of grassy, kind of grainy. Not really super impressed in the smell, but the fact that it is an adjunct lager and I can smell hops is it's a good thing, definitely. So just gonna go on ahead and jump into this one. It's not bad. I mean, it's definitely refreshing. It does. I mean, you get that little bit of a hop character, kind of mid palate, slight bitterness. You can kind of taste like a little bit of a kind of caramel malt up front. But other than that, it does taste pretty macro. I mean, grassy, grainy, almost corny, like a you know a, you know Coors, that kind of corn, watery, not that good. But well, Coors is, but this is actually it's pretty good. It's pretty refreshing. It almost kind of reminds me of Sam Adams, just the Boston Lager. That's obviously a much, much better beer than this. I mean, just because it's quality made, there are no cheap adjuncts, but it's the hop character, the kind of it reminds me slightly of Sam Adams Boston Lager. This, as again, isn't nearly as good as that, but this is a pretty good beer. I would reach for this over any macro lager any day. It's got a nice hop character to it. The malt profile isn't terrible. I mean, I can taste kind of, I wouldn't say, it says caramel malt. I wouldn't call this caramel. I mean, this is maybe a little more bready. I'm not tasting like, as far as a dark roasty malt goes, like caramel, not at all. It's kind of a bready malt, but I can definitely taste the malt profile there. I don't pick it up on the nose at all, but I can taste it. And I can, again, that hop, get a little bit of a hop bite right at the top of the palate, and some bitterness there, which is good. Excuse me. If they, I would say macro lagers wouldn't be nearly as bad as they are if they just brewed them like this with a little hop character every once in a while. I might pick them up more often. Excuse me, but this beer, it's okay. I'd say it's okay. I actually got this. I've seen it around. It's normally like $8.99, $9.99 for a 6-pack of this stuff. Picked it up at Raceway tonight. There was no price under it. I think they must have just started carrying it or something. No price under it. I pick it up. I'm expecting to pay the price that I've normally seen it around other places for. Guy rings it up. It's like $5.69. I couldn't believe it. So for that price, I'd pick this up any day of the week. $5.69 for, yes, an adjunct lager, but an adjunct lager with a little bit of, I mean, it's got pretty good hop character. It's got an okay malt profile. It's definitely the best, or one of the best beers Coors has ever put out. Because I mean, Coors Banquet, Coors Light, they're just shit. So I mean, anytime they could put anything like this out, it's this is a pretty good beer. I'd reach for this, over any other adjunct lager any day. So I'm gonna give this 7 out of 10. If you see it, I'd recommend picking it up. This would be a great transition beer if you normally like beers from the big three, Miller, Coors, Budweiser. This is definitely a good transition beer. If you aren't quite able to jump right into craft beer or imports or something like that, just have something like this. This is definitely a step above anything. I think that Budweiser's, like the Black Crown they put out, that tastes just like Budweiser. It's just a little darker. In color. There's not really anything else added to it. It's Budweiser. That's what it is. This actually has a little more, actually, compared to Coors, quite a bit more complexity in the flavor. So I would give this a 7 out of 10 because it's a pretty good beer, totally sessionable. I mean, I have, tossed back a 6-pack of this in a day before. It's a pretty good beer. I'd reach for this over, any macro lager any day. So 7 out of 10 for batch 19 pre-prohibition style lager from Coors. If you see it, pick it up, especially if you can get a deal on it like I did tonight. I mean, it's just ridiculous, the price. So thanks for watching. Keep watching for more reviews. Prost.